Hey everybody, how's it going? Hot Pink by Adam Levin. I recently read that. This is the cover. Depending on which hardcover edition you got, it would come in a couple different colors. I think there was a gray one and a pink one and maybe even a green one. I don't know. But this is a short story collection. Adam Levin is probably best known for The Instructions, a massive, like 1,300 page novel that I have not read. However, I did read his book Bubblegum, which I think came out in 2020 or so. I read that last year and I really, really liked it. Levin often gets compared to David Foster Wallace, and I can certainly see that. He definitely has a similar feel, but he has his own style. He writes these postmodern, philosophical, quirky, funny, offbeat sort of books that are very hard to categorize. They're very much not for everybody, but if you are kind of into that stuff, they're very good. In general, just his writing is superb. He's an excellent writer. He has great prose, command of the language, and he's often extremely creative and just funny. He's one of the funniest authors I've read in a long time. So, Hot Pink may actually be a good primer for folks who are interested in getting into him, but maybe don't want to commit to reading the instructions or something. This is about 250 pages, and there's about 8 stories. And having read Bubblegum, which I really, really enjoy, I thought it was excellent. It didn't. It wasn't like a 5-star read. There were moments where, in the case of some of these kinds of books, it just lost me. Like I wasn't really sure from a philosophical or a structure standpoint what he was trying to do all the time. And there were sections that I felt were, like overly maximalist for my taste. It just kind of got a little boring. Overall, a great book. Very funny, very creative. And it's the same in here. There are some stories I didn't care for. There are some stories in here most of them are great. And honestly, there are some things I thought were even funnier than Bubblegum in here. So I'll just read the names of the books, or of the stories rather. Franken Wittgenstein, Considering the Bittersweet End. In fact, why don't I just give you. No, I'll just read them. Franken Wittgenstein, Considering the Bittersweet End of Susan Falls, The Extra Mile, Finch, Relating, Jane Tell, RSVP, Scientific American, How to Play the Guy, and Hot Pink. And sorry for that noise. Every time I make a video, there's like some sort of insane construction going on. There's roofing going on right outside my window, so my apologies. But this is a cool collection because, well, first off, being a short story collection, if there's something that's not clicking with you, you can just go to the next story. And he does try to do a couple different sorts of stories in here. There's traditional. Well, nothing in here is traditional. It's all very Levin. And I will say, having read Bubblegum, this feels like Levin. So that's cool that I'm starting to get his style, really. But there are some more like experimental art sort of stories in here. And those kind of lost me. Like The Extra Mile was like a long form joke. Relating was a sort of flash fiction piece. RSVP was almost like a little bit of a short joke story. And How to Play the Guy, I just, those didn't catch me as much. Or I was like, I don't really know what he's doing here. Franken Wittgenstein, Considering the Bittersweet End of Susan Falls, Finch, Hot Pink, Jane Tell, those were good. Franken Wittgenstein was very funny. My favorite 2 stories in here were Finch, which is a story about this sort of overweight, unpopular kid whose dad is constantly telling him about. He's in this Italian kid whose dad is always telling him about this Italian mobster hitman. And Jane Tell, which is about this kind of loser character who gets mixed up with this insane woman that he starts dating and some issues that are in their relationship. And those felt like classic Levin stories to me. They are very weird and offbeat. The characters are quirky. It occasionally breaks the fourth wall. It's very creative, and they're laugh out loud funny. Finch was the first story in this where I was literally laughing out loud, almost in tears. It's just so freaking funny. Some of the funniest shit I've read in a long time. And as I had mentioned earlier, a couple months ago, I read Ant Kind by Charlie Kaufman. And I said that was probably the funniest book in recent memory I could think of that I've read. And some of this stuff is just like unbelievably funny. Levin's really good at presenting the stories in this creative, weird way. and having this quirkiness and this strangeness. And he's not afraid to push it a little too far sometimes, almost when he wants to. But at the same time, he's very good at writing about the intricacies of relationships and feelings in a way that feels very relatable to, I feel, anyone, and then have it surrounded by all this absurdity. So I think that this is like not a perfect short story collection, as most are, but it was really cool to read Levin in a short story manner. And I think, like I said, this is a good primer for checking out Levin's work. Um, Again, there's just some excellent, freaking hilarious stories in here. And having just read Negative Space by B.R. Yeager, which is a really bleak, depressing book, this was great to read. So I'm probably going to read the instructions by him next. Not the next book I'm going to read, but I think when I read Levin again, it's going to be the instructions because I'm really glad I came back to him. I always knew after reading Bubblegum that I would. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, this is really funny. I think I would like to see him do more short story stuff. I think he really works well in the short story vein. This is from 2011, I think. So I don't know if this is his first book. I think it is. I feel like the instructions came out after this. I could be wrong, but anyways, if you're into that sort of stuff, I definitely recommend this, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. So peace out. If you've read this, let me know what you thought of it. I thought it was very funny. If you've read any other Levin books, if you've read the instructions, let me know. I'm curious to know what y'all think about that. So I'll see you next time. Peace out. Have a good day.